This is the Cami sandwich.
And this is the Trisha's Monte Cristo.
We just had an omelet named after us called the Frank and Noah.
The Salvatore is a Italian sausage omelet with your choice of cheese.
There's a delicious version of the name game happening in Westford, Massachusetts. And you can find all these names, faces, and delicious dishes at Paul's Diner. Located just off Route 495, Paul's Diner is a longtime neighborhood spot with a dedicated local following.
Paul's Diner is a place where people go to have comfort food and meet up with friends and have a good breakfast or lunch or breakfast at any time and just relax and hang out with their friends. It's kind of a staple in Westford. Everybody, when they're gonna meet someplace, where do you wanna meet? Let's meet at Paul's.
It all came about when the original owner decided to sell this spot to Sal and Trisha Bonacore, a couple who had been loyal customers for well over a decade.
My husband and I started coming here about 14, 15 years ago, and we just loved it.
We live probably about 3 minutes from here. And then one day came in, spoke to the owner, and then when he decided to sell the diner, I decided to buy the diner.
You'll find customers lining up right at 6:30 a.m. for breakfast items like fluffy pancakes, a tasty crab cake Benedict smothered in hollandaise, and breakfast sandwiches like the Vinnie Ray, loaded up with eggs, tomato, avocado, and spinach. There are an astounding 32 omelets, including the Sal, stuffed with spicy Italian sausage, and the Frank and Noah, named for longtime customers. This omelet is overloaded with shaved steak, peppers, onions, and cheese.
Frank and Noah, it's a grandfather, Frank, and his grandson Noah, and they pretty much come here every morning and they grab breakfast.
It's shaved steak, peppers, onions, whatever cheese you want, folded between 3 eggs in an omelet.
There are sweet ways to start your day, like this waffle topped with Nutella, strawberries, banana, and whipped cream. But if you ask Trisha, you've got to try the Monte Cristo, named, of course, after her.
When we bought the diner, that was one of the first things that Sal put on the menu for me, is this wonderful French toast Monte Cristo with the ham and the cheese, and with my favorite, the raspberry syrup. The Monte Cristo is the perfect combination of breakfast, lunch, and kind of a little dessert.
Another menu item Paul's has become known for are their meatballs. So tasty, they make an appearance on the menu at both breakfast and lunch. And that's just because Sal is using his mother, Rosina's time-tested recipe.
This is from Mom, Rosina. She'd be proud.
Sal's meatballs are fantastic, and I'm not just saying that. I'm an Irish girl, and the first time I had his mom's meatballs, I was in awe.
The sauce is scratch-made. The meatballs are scratch-made, hand-rolled, made here, fresh, all the time. But it's also the ingredients we add, the breadcrumb, the grated cheese, the garlic powder, the salt, the pepper, that make it authentic.
He hand rolls every meatball. No one else is allowed to roll the meatballs. No one else is allowed to touch his sauce. It's all about him making his mom's meatballs.
At lunch, you can find these beauties on a roll, making for one satisfying meatball sandwich. And at breakfast, you'll see them as an omelet, a menu item customers often question.
Initially, they think, I can't imagine having a meatball in an omelet. Those people that have tried it, that's all they get when they come here from here on out.
Other lunch items include hearty portions of chicken and waffles, and one of the biggest and best Reubens around.
Most people, when you bring it to them, they are in awe. They're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was this big. It's just, they stack on all of that corned beef and the sauerkraut and the cheese. It's fantastic, it's big. You will never leave Paul's Diner hungry, never.
Sal and Trisha's daughter Cameron even has a sandwich called the Cami.
Growing up, my dad always called me Cammy, and it kind of just became my new nickname. The sandwich is teriyaki chicken, and it has lettuce, provolone cheese, tomatoes, onions, and peppers. And growing up, I would always get teriyaki chicken sandwiches wherever we went. So when it ended up being on the menu, he thought it would be the perfect name to name it after me. It's just so much teriyaki, and the peppers and onions add to the flavor. It's just so good.
And for this family, the only thing better than the food and the customers they're serving is the feeling they get doing it.
One of the biggest reasons why I ever wanted to take the chance and venture out to do this is I look out and I listen and I see people smiling and laughing and talking and eating and enjoying their food. That's the biggest reason why I decided to do this.
I want my customers to experience a great meal with a positive atmosphere that they want to come back to. It's almost like they had a good home-cooked meal, but they weren't at home. They were at Paul's Diner.